Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin, and today I have a video for you about some mid-century modern stuff, and which of these coins is not like the other. Oh, a misalignment error, look at that. Really though, these old capital plastics are really cool, and oftentimes kind of a great resource for finding coins to get certified. I found lots of this type of stuff where someone took the time to put these in holders immediately after they came out. So they were actually protected better than the ones that are in the original packaging, which is these little cellophane plastics inside of boxes where they'd get shook, right? And so we're going to talk a little bit today about what you would get graded, but also what will probably get graded and why. So when it comes to mid-century modern proof coins, generally speaking, most of your Ben Franklin half dollars from the first couple of years, so that's going to be starting in 1950, are probably the type of coins, the 50, 51, 52, 53. Those first few years are the ones that are almost always worth getting graded, as long as there's no major flaws, hiccups, or any type of hairlines or environmental damage, gang, that type of thing. So when it comes to the smaller denominations, it's really hit and miss, because usually you want to see something that's a little bit different. What's nice about having sets like this is you can kind of observe the coins right next to each other. It's an easy way to hold them and start to see the differences between coins that have a cameo appearance and those that do not. You'll notice at different angles as I tilt the holder here that the Washington quarter, anyone know that guy? Yeah, G-Dub, the OG. His portrait is still cameoed at a slightly higher angle. Now, I would not probably call this cameo because it's not quite there, but it could get a star from NGC if you're sending it into NGC. Usually if you get something like that type of difference between the black and the white, that's the cameo effect right there, and you can get a star. The other thing, of course, we're going to look at as we look at these coins is going to be for toning. We've got a couple things to send in that people who really enjoy toning will like. You're likely to see it sometimes on different coins, but this 1951 cent, that'll preach. I think a lot of people who like toned pennies or cents, as they may be called in America, they will enjoy a coin like that. So when you're looking at these guys, it's hard to tell sometimes the hairlines, especially through the plastic. So some of these you'll have to take them out to see, but this has some fine hairlines on it. It appears to be on the coin and not the holder. So although the coin looks like it's just immaculate, the type of thing at a glance, because there's no contact marks, and you say, hey, that's going to be a 67 or whatever, I'm guessing it would be discounted because of the hairlines to a 65. Just one man's guess. We'll find out how wrong I am here, I think, eventually, because most of these are going to get sent in for a client who we've already kind of gone through them and said which ones he's liking and what we were going to send in. Also, you can see here this nickel has a little bit of a cameo to it once again as you tilt it, and you can still see a little bit of that contrast between the surfaces and the fields. I just said the same thing. The surface and the field are the same thing. The design elements in the fields, it's just language, But you can see how delicate proofs are, so that every little fine line pops up on them. So it can be pretty difficult to determine sometimes what you're going to see and what's really going to pop. Once you get into the 50s, it's a lot harder, because then you kind of have to start to think about how things are priced and what they'll grade out at. Kind of a rule of thumb on most stuff from the 50s still is if you've got a really nice looking coin with strong cameo appearance, it's probably worth getting graded. Once you get into the 60s, you see a lot more cameos, so it's a lot harder to necessarily just call one out and say, that a certain coin will be worth sending in. Now, once again, you may not care about the cost of getting coins graded, but you're going to be spending on an economy service on up to the more expensive service, but you're still going to end up spending $20 to $30 a coin, depending on how many you send in and with all your shipping and stuff. But this coin here, now the other ones you saw a lot of hairlines on. Now look at the surfaces on this guy here. The hairlines are not present at all. And so you can start to see on a very up close and personal level that although at a distance the coins look the same, up close this coin, in my opinion, is superior to some of those first coins we looked at. Also, you want to know how you can tell a mark is on the plastic and not the coin? It'll move. So if you can see between the F and the D in the word half and dollar, that crosshairs, at first I thought it was on the coin, but you can see now it's on the F, now it's on the D, so it's on the plastic. Just something to watch out for. That's harder on smaller cases. It's definitely a lot harder on, if you have a certified coin and you're trying to figure out if something's on the holder or not. Sometimes that's difficult to see. Another 1950 toner on a cent. Speaking of toned cents, I got a couple to show you that are really fun that we almost always get certified. And that is some of these wild toners. You'll see it sometimes on these sets from the special mint sets, the 60s, 65, 6, and 7. But there's like this whole thing going on with the way the pennies tone sometimes. And just really lots of fun. These we tend to send into PCGS, get the true view on them, and people bid them up like crazy. There's guys that just have collections of nothing but these cents. Also, for the special mint sets, one of the things that you're always looking for is to see if you can get a cameo on anything, because very, very few of these come with a cameo effect. Almost all of them come just with that glossy finish. So if you can get a really nice cameo effect on any of those, you'll do pretty good. Also, the cameo effect is one thing. There are some varieties that you can cherry pick out of the 60s and 70s. This coin here, this is interesting because it's got the heavy tone to it, but it looks like it has a little bit of that cameo effect underneath the tone. But once again, the cent on here has really a pretty cool look to it. I like the first one a little bit better. But, these cents, when they get that gunmetal blue on there, really a popular look. Now, what's fun is when you get, a couple of custom holders. First of all, the 1942 proof set, how cool is that? So this has both the Type 1 and the Type 2 nickels. And amongst my favorite coins, the 42 Type 2, which is the silver, has the mint mark on the back. There's just it's something cool to me about those coins that you can still buy for $100 to $200 that are really beautiful, that has a mintage, I think, of like 23,000, and they're just neat. They're just neat. Speaking of neat, we should take a minute to look at some proof coins that you don't see as often. Proof coins from the 40s. Start to take a look and see kind of how different that finish is versus a coin that is polished. Sometimes you'll get coins in, or you see them online and it'll be raw and it'll say it's proof, and then you got to kind of look at it and you're like, oh, it's so shiny, but then you got to look and say, oh, it's just polished. And so it's helpful to kind of get a look at some stuff that's going to be different, that's going to have an actual proof finish to it. None of those hairlines are there, and yet it still has that mirror finish. And of course, isn't she lovely? 1942 proof Walking Liberty. Really, really a stunning coin. One of my favorite designs. And one of the reasons why it became the Silver Eagle design on the obverse is really just a lovely design. And of course, these coins, they look incredible, and also there's a pretty good chance that they will not grade as high as you think they'll grade. But actually, that's a pretty nice example on that 42. And then, but the 41, I think there was the 41 that was kind of bonkers. Look at that coin. Really lovely. Both of them are nice coins for the type. I'm just trying to thinking out loud here if I've had any of these coins in Cameo. And I'm just thinking those are like uber rare in Cameo because I definitely don't see them with any frequency. A little bit of a cool purple hue on that cent. Oh, on both sides, look at that. That's lovely. Little spot there in the field, unfortunately, but the purple is cool. A touch of Cameo, but not Cameo. This Mercury dime has a little bit more of a Cameo look to it. You start to see some little bit of hairlines in the fields there. But those holders are cool and fun, and the thing that I wanted to show you was, oh, this holder. If I can show it to you, let me see here. Proof sets, and it's just living large, people. Capital Plastics made all kinds of fun stuff there, and you have to forgive the monkey in the mirror. But this one's fun. You got the 58 set, a 59. It's really funny the way they did it. Then there's a 50, and then you got a 53, 4, knocking things over here, 5, 6, and 7. So once again, once you get in those mid and later 50s, probably not going to be shipping too many of them out as far as, you know, trying to get them graded goes, unless they look like they're really Cameo or spectacular. So the idea here is, of course, to see if you can find anything that's going to be kind of Cameos, like this 1950, where'd you go? 1950 cent actually has kind of a Cameo look to it, which is pretty cool. That one might get sent. Well, in general, the 50s are probably all getting sent anyways, just because as long as there's no problems on them, the 50s are a little bit tougher. But looking for Cameos and cherries on stuff like this. So anyway, it's stuff that's kind of worth adventuring into, I think. And you know, once you train your eye, it's fun stuff to try to cherry pick, find stuff that's got a little bit of a Cameo to it, and you know, send them off. There's a little bit of a Cameo here on this quarter. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.